ahead and get started. So, first things first, let's go over the trades that were taken by me and in the signal room. We ended up taking one more loss. Also, just a quick heads up, the Wi-Fi where I'm at tends to go in and out. So if my screen does freeze, if I do stop talking, I'll let you guys know in the Discord. Or rather, you guys let me know in the Discord so that I know. But it happens probably once a week. Anyways, let's go ahead and go over the trade that we ended up taking a loss on. This was on GBP NZD. Same thing that I analyzed with you guys yesterday. Our weekly time frame is bullish. Price had pulled back last week into this previous structure. On the daily time frame, same thing. We're bullish. We had a pullback into previous structure. And on the 4-hour time frame, we had at the time that we were analyzing, so on Sunday, we were looking at price like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and what is this? I don't know. So this was on Sunday. Sunday, we were analyzing the markets together, and what I said was we have to wait for one of two things to happen, either a lower low to be created and then a shift of structure, or we can count this right here as the shift of structure to the upside. The only issue is we're under the EMA, therefore price may get pushed lower, and that's exactly what happened. Monday came around, price pushed lower, then we had a lower high, lower low, and then we finally had the shift of structure happening after our call yesterday. So this morning, close to, I guess, 1 o'clock, is that right? Close to 4 in the morning, so this is London session, I had basically noticed that price had created that shift of structure. We then had the pullback into the EMA, and we had a push. I had a little bit of a late entry. Ideally, I would have entered this trade right after this engulfing candle right here. Now, the issue that I'm seeing is that even if I had entered right here and had my stop loss, say, right below these lows, I probably still would have gotten wicked out by this move to the downside. So that's really unfortunate. We ended up taking this loss here. And the reason that I didn't set my stop loss down here is because we had a super late entry on the trade. And if I had used a bigger stop loss, the stop loss would have looked like this. And that would have been a 67 pip stop loss, kind of large. I'm not really trying to take trades with 67 pip stop losses, especially since I'm trying to squeeze out as much of a risk to reward out of the trade as possible. So what ended up happening is I set my stop loss basically underneath this little area of interest. As you can see on the 1-hour time frame and on the 30-minute time frame, is a very, very well respected area. And I figured, okay, if price breaks below this area, then we break below the EMA, and chances of us going down are higher than us going up. Unfortunately, that's exactly what price did. It ended up engulfing to the downside on the 4-hour time frame, creating a lower high or a higher low to then create the higher high on this trade here. So where could we have potentially entered again? Maybe right here after price had broken through, created a double bottom. We never retested this double bottom, so I don't think that I would have entered. And another reason I wouldn't have entered again is because I was already in NZD USD. Now, NZD USD, completely different trade. It's a selling trade, first of all. On the weekly time frame, we had created a lower low, basically had swung low, had a pullback into previous structure. Daily time frame, same thing, had a lower low, pullback into previous structure into this nice area of interest. And then what I saw is basically on the 4-hour time frame, we had a shift of structure. We were bullish from right here to right here. Then we were bullish from right here to right here. And as soon as we basically closed below this structure point right here, I saw this area of interest that we were reacting from, and I basically entered after we had a pullback and a reaction to the downside, and I set my stop loss I couldn't set my stop loss. Well, I could have set my stop loss way up here. That would have been about a 40 pip stop loss, but I decided to squeeze out a couple of pips and set it right above this area of interest and right above these two previous structures. Therefore, I can get a bigger risk to reward, and my trade is also protected by two strong areas of rejection, right? The chance of price pushing up from here and creating a double top and then going down are kind of low, considering the fact that we have already reacted from this area multiple times in the past. So I was just decided to take that risk, and we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how that plays out tomorrow. But yeah, basically what we have is price pulling back into this little area of interest that I have marked out here. And hopefully we get to see a continuation to the downside. My first profit target will be this structure point right here, as it will be the next, which is a daily profit target. And it is a 1 to 2 as well. So that's perfect. All right, let's go ahead and analyze a few other pairs. These were all ones that we were interested in. First is Euro NZD. Euro NZD, we talked about yesterday. Price had come back into this area of interest, very, very similar to GBP NZD. Almost the same setup where we have pushed past an area of interest, pulled back into that same area of interest, and we are now pushing off of it. Like I usually say, GBP and Euro end up, or not GBP, NZD and sorry, GBP and Euro end up following each other very closely, especially when the pair following is the same. Okay, so we'll see whether that's Euro. What is this? NordVPN. Whether that's Euro USD, Euro or GBP USD. Euro JPY, GBP JPY, those will all follow the same type of market structure as one another. So same thing there. 4-hour structure will look a little bit different. We are still underneath this 4-hour EMA. We have finally broken above the 1-hour EMA though. That's exactly what we were waiting for. I'm still not too confident in this entry because we are still, like I said, underneath the 4-hour EMA. There's a chance that price might react to the downside before we break above and continue upwards. If you decided to take the risky entry, then good for you. You might be in some kind of profit right now, depending on where you entered. Ideally, price would come back, retest this structure point right here, retest this double bottom, and then finally push through the 4-hour EMA. And then once we are on the other side of the 4-hour EMA, that's when we can take some confident entries on this trade. Next up, AUD CHF. AUD CHF. Okay, so my Wi-Fi is already struggling a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me. Weekly time frame is bearish. Daily time frame is bearish as well. We have created a lower low, right? Lower low, pulled back to create a shoulder right here. And we had reacted off of this daily EMA, and we're currently trying to break underneath the daily EMA there. Now, what I want to see is a proper break and retest of this area of interest, because price likes to react from it. There are a lot of sellers underneath and a lot of buyers above, as we can see. So once price actually breaks underneath, we might be able to catch a nice little pullback and a nice move to the downside after that. USD CHF, same thing. I'm waiting for the break underneath this area of interest, underneath the EMA. We are currently still reacting or selling underneath the daily EMA, similar to the way we were up here. We were basically hugging it the entire time, and then we got some nice sells once we saw the reaction off the EMA. that's when we were able to hop in on this secondary move to the downside and capitalize off of that. That's kind of what we're going to be waiting for here. Going to wait for the exhaustion to take place, and then we'll hop in once all of the buyers are out of the market, and then we can just hop in on the train of sellers. And the main profit target will be this one all the way down here. I wouldn't recommend holding any longer because we don't know where we're selling into. That's the simple truth. Euro CHF. Euro CHF price never pulled back into our area of interest, but what it did do is it did retest. Let's see what we were looking at here. So I talked about how price didn't come back, or I talked about how this reaction, this pullback, had already retested this area of interest, even though it was very, very little. Very, very little. And that's because if we pulled back up to here, we would go bullish on the 1 hour and 2 hour time frames, which would be difficult to recover from. If we went bullish at the area of interest, especially, there's a chance we would break above, retest, and continue to buy. Now, I don't really love the way price is struggling to push down here. There actually might be a retest now. The only thing is, let's see, 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame is bearish. Okay, well, now things look a little bit different. Now it does look like price may push up from where we are and successfully retest this area of interest. Yes, the lower time frames would go bullish, but that happens during pullbacks on the higher time frames. Yeah, as you can see, we mostly have this is mostly a support zone. We don't have much resistance happening here. So what we want to see is we want to see price coming in, using this support as resistance, and also using this EMA as a catalyst for sellers. Next is USD CAD. USD CAD is one that I was interested in, but I also had it marked up like this, where price had broken above, then retested, then bought. I was a little bit impatient when I saw how price was basically starting to push into the area of interest. And my thought process was that if we were able to break into the area of interest and actually close above some of these structure points, then we would use these structure points as a support to go up. Kind of like right here where we had this pullback, pullback, pullback. As soon as we broke above these structure points right here, we broke above them, we retested them, we retested the EMA, and then we shot up. Unfortunately, that's not what happened here. I guess we are still underneath the EMA. Once we do manage to break up into this area, then we should see a pullback, retesting the top of this or the bottom of this huge area of interest, and then we will get a push to the upside. GBP CAD, daily time frame. Also struggling, similar to USD CAD. Ideally, we would want price to be up here before buying with the higher time frames. Weekly time frame is bullish, daily time frame is bullish, and 4 hour time frame is currently bullish. Okay. Now, what we need to see, exhaustion from sellers, new buyers entering this market, retesting previous structures, and then taking off to the upside, similar to the way we analyzed USD CAD. AUD USD. AUD USD. So we avoided a loss on AUD USD after taking a few weeks ago. Weekly time frame is bullish. Daily time frame is bullish. And we had taken 2 losses right here, which I already broke down a few times. And we're in the same position we were when we were taking these buys, but now we're kind of above this EMA. I said that I wanted to see price break above these structure points, actually close above these structure points, and then come back and then head to the upside. I was just a little bit concerned with the fact that we had been in this position before in the same area and we ended up selling. And that's why I ended up taking this loss. And then that's why I ended up taking this entry right here for another loss. So I was just a little bit more patient and we avoided this entry right here. Now, what price can do is it can shoot up from here and then give us an entry after we retest these structures up here. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened yet, so we'll keep an eye on it. But as of right now, I don't see any trades setting up just yet on AUD USD. Yeah, weekly time frame. So we actually went bearish on the 4-hour. The 4-hour is now bearish. But daily time frame is still bullish, so there are no sells for us just yet. Euro USD. Euro USD, also another interesting pair. Daily time frame is currently bearish, and what we had broken down is pullback to sell. Now, yesterday we had a bearish engulfing candle. That was pretty apparent when price closed right here. As you can see, we opened and we basically shot straight down. Okay, we shot into the EMA. Now, I had said literally 24 hours ago that if we were going to be selling, we would be selling from right here. And our profit target would be right here. That's exactly what happened. I didn't take this trade because I want a little bit more out of this move. I don't want to be limited by this EMA because this EMA is very, very strong. It has held price up for months, literally months. So what I want to see is I want to see price fully break underneath, retest, and then sell, or break back above and then take more buys, okay? So as of right now, we are going to be waiting. Euro GBP. Euro GBP is currently bullish. Daily time frame. Daily time frame is currently bearish. So we ended up selling, pulling back and selling a little bit more. 4-hour time frame seems to be creating a double bottom and a double top at the same time. That's fantastic. We don't need any of it. Let's see. Pull back. Weekly time frame is bullish. Daily time frame is bearish. And 4-hour time frame. Technically, if you were going to count this as an elbow, we are bullish. Or no, I lied. Technically, we're still bearish, even if this is an elbow. So what I would want to see is if we are going to continue to buy with the higher time frames, we need the 4-hour time frame to go bullish and react from these, first of all, this previous structure, and second of all, this area right here, which has seen strong sellers. And above it, there are a lot of buyers. You can see same area, strong buyers. So we're hoping that this area here will give us the move that we need. All I'm going to be waiting for is price to push up, break above the 4-hour area of interest, come back, retest the EMA, and then continue to buy. There's going to be a lot of waiting involved on this pair. So I'm currently not very interested in it. NZD CHF could have still been in this trade. There's no area of interest. There's no previous structure. There's really nothing for us to take a continuation off of unless we use this one structure point right here. And if we did use it, then even then price never made it there quite the way we would want it to in order to risk money. So not interested, still waiting on either a deeper pullback into previous structure or for some kind of other structure to be created on NZD CHF. As of right now, not interested. GBP CHF. GBP CHF, as the other CHF pairs, is very bearish. Daily time frame has created a lower low. Then we came up, retested the EMA. 4 hour time frame has finally done what we were wanting it to do. It has finally broken underneath the EMA and is now retesting it once more. Ideally, we would be taking the sells. Ideally, I would want price to kind of retest the bottom of the area of interest. It's not really doing that right now, unless we drew our area of interest a little bit. So I guess we could use this structure point here and tighten it up on the top as well. Okay, so in order to see price a little bit more clearly, we can do this. Now, the unfortunate thing is I still don't like this. This kind of reminds me of Euro CHF. No, not Euro CHF. Which one was it? Euro USD. Euro USD, where we had this super, super strong pullback. As soon as we sold, we had a super strong pullback, and then price kind of just trickled over and sold. So that's the same case with this pair right here. You can already see the reaction starting to happen from the area of interest. So that is a possibility if you guys are interested in taking sells on GBP CHF. I personally don't love the price action. I hate how choppy this pair is. There's a lot of wicks and a lot of how do you say it? Not volatile, spontaneous moves. Like you'll get a huge candle out of nowhere and then you'll get the reversal. Not a huge fan of that. But if you're able to get a nice type stop loss, then there could be a potential move to the downside. NZD CAD. NZD CAD is a move that I was looking at. Why does that look so similar? Okay, that's why. It's because NZD USD is basically the same thing. So I picked NZD USD over NZD CAD. They both basically look the same. What we were waiting for here is a 4 hour shift to the downside. So what price did is we were bearish, then we went bullish, and then we went bearish again. And you probably could have entered, let's say, after this little engulfing candle on the 2 hour time frame, or after this bearish candle on the 1 hour time frame. Stop loss would still be kind of questionable. Like your stop loss would either have to be all the way up here or make it a little bit tighter the way that I did. I prefer my stop loss on NZD USD because the EMA is quite a bit further away, and the previous structures are also there to stop price in case it does go up. Here on NZD CAD, the EMA is very, very close to price. I guess there's a little bit of an area of interest right here as well on the 4 hour time frame. So that's pretty good for this trade overall. I do believe that we should just get a nice continuation to the downside without many issues for a 1 to 2.7. Another reason that I picked NZD USD over NZD CAD, let's see if we can actually get this to load, is because of the structures around it. So here, as soon as we get to this structure point, that would be the last structure point that we could target for sells, right? As soon as we get here, the next structure point is all the way down here. Whereas on NZD USD, as soon as we get here, then we can target an area of interest over here, and then one a little bit lower, and so on and so forth. So we have multiple profit targets to target rather than just having one and then being done. But to each their own. I like the way we retested the EMA super nicely, and we are selling with the overall trend, which is fantastic. I mean, for tomorrow, there's really not much more to be said. If price does come back into this area of interest, you could potentially expect a lower high for a lower low. If not, then price might just continue to melt and head towards our profit target there. JPY pairs. JPY pairs have not slowed down at all. They have just continued to push and push and push. There's nothing to trade here. I've never been somebody who has been able to trade markets that are just pushing without pulling back. That's more of a scalper's dream. Okay, so what I'm seeing is we are creating on a higher time frame an inverted head and shoulders. So we can expect a pullback. The pullback has to happen. And when it does, then we'll be able to catch the next move to the upside pretty nicely. Euro AUD. Euro AUD weekly time frame is bullish. Daily time frame is currently bullish. We did have a nice selling candle. The next step is one of two. We're either going to retest previous structure and retest EMA for more sells, which is possible. Weekly, daily bullish. Daily bullish. Or the 4-hour time frame will go bullish, and then we'll have 3 time frames in sync to buy. And then we'll probably use this area of interest right here as the next structure point for the continuation to the upside. So the EMA would look like this, and we'll push up, we'll pull back, and then we'll have another leg to the upside. Okay. Now, are there any other pairs that you guys want to go over before we continue? Or have we basically gone over everything and then we have a few left? Okay, daily time frame. Daily time frame here has created a higher high, right? So we created a higher high right here. And as soon as this candle closes, we will go bearish on the daily time frame, which is kind of expected at this point. 4-hour time frame has also gone bearish. So the 4-hour is bearish right now from right here down to here. Now, what we can do, sorry, my nose is itchy. What we can do is we can pull back into this previous structure here and create a new move to the downside as long as price is able to break through the 4-hour EMA. Yeah, that's basically it. That's the area of interest that we could expect price to re-enter before we see any more buyers. It is a daily area of interest, I believe. There is previous structure, and there are more structures to the left as well. So that's what I would expect for AUD CAD for sells. GBP AUD. GBP AUD still trading above our area of interest. Daily time frame is still bearish. 4-hour time frame is also still bearish. If price breaks above here, then we will go bullish, but the other 2 time frames will still be, I lied. The daily time frame will be bearish, but the 4-hour time frame and the weekly time frame will be bullish. So weekly is bullish, retesting the weekly EMA. Daily time frame is bearish, so we create a lower low, lower high, lower low, and we are creating the lower high for the potential lower low, or if the 4-hour shifts bullish, which it looks like it will, since we closed below this structure point right here with this move. If we close above, then we'll be bullish on the 4-hour, which could give us the move for the higher low to create the higher high, which will then give us a bullish daily time frame, and then we will have 3 time frames in sync to buy. Okay, so that is something to look out for. for continuation for buys. If not, then we might see some sellers temporarily. I do expect price to continue with the buyers, especially since we are retesting this weekly EMA. Weekly EMA seems to be holding price up quite well, and I would expect it to continue to do so. I still don't really like the market structure here. I guess we have kind of created a double bottom. So potential buys if we do break above and retest the structures right here above the EMA. We just have to be careful to not get stuck in a move like this where price breaks above, retest EMA, short-term buys, and then back into sellers. We need to see an actual separation between the buyers and sellers. We're actually looking for something exactly like this, where we have closed way above the EMA, retested the EMA, retested previous structures, and then we see the buyers coming back into the market. So your entries would be somewhere around these engulfing candles, and then your stop loss would have to be below the wicks at the bottom for a safer trade. That is something that I'll keep an eye on for now. CAD CHF. CAD CHF, same thing with other CHF pairs, very bearish 4-hour time frame. Not sure why I have it marked up like this. 4-hour time frame is currently bearish, lower low, lower high to create the next lower low. Super, super choppy. So if you're a scalper, this is probably heaven for you with a tiny, tiny stop loss. Let's see. A little confused. We're also at NZD JPY. What do you mean NZD JPY? We're in NZD USD. We're in NZD USD. What do you mean? How much do you invest for trades? Like how much risk? Just usually 1% per trade. Okay, back to where we were. Let's move this over here. Okay, lower low. But yeah, we're basically in this area for previous structure. As you can see, price has retested it, given us a rejection, and we should see a continuation to the downside. I don't like trading markets like this, super, super choppy, especially when it's trending downwards, because that usually means that all it takes is a nice little spike and then you're out of the move and you could easily get a continuation to the downside. So we're just going to stay away from that one. AUD, NZD, AUD, NZD, weekly time frame, super bullish, daily time frame. So we were talking about this yesterday. What I want to see is a double top or some kind of secondary structure for price to break under. So if this was to go up to here and then have an engulfing, candle to the downside, then we could potentially either wait for a lower low and then a retest to sell, or yeah, NZD USD. You're good. Or we wait for daily engulfing to the downside, and then we enter on the next wick and sell. This is going to be a very, very counter trend trade. The only reason that I'm even considering it is because we are so far away from any kind of structure, right? So we would be catching, what's the opposite of a falling knife? An arrow, like bow and arrow. I don't know, a rocket ship. It's never a good thing either. Daily time frame is bullish, weekly time frame is bullish, and 4-hour time frame is currently bullish. So yeah, ideally we would get a daily structure that is either a reversal pattern, or we would get a daily structure which makes price go bearish, which would need to be a higher high and then a lower low, right? So not really interested in this one for now. Euro CAD. Weekly time frame, bullish. Technically from right here, weekly time frame is bullish. Now we opened and we shot straight down. There's no wick at the top. So a reversal here would be fantastic, but I'm not sure if we'll get one. Um, Daily time frame is bullish. We had pulled back into this structure right here. It is, I guess, considered a previous structure. I'm not a huge fan of the way that price made it there. It was very, very aggressive. 4 hour time frame, daily time frames bullish, 4 hour time frame. So if the 4 hour time frame manages to go bullish somehow, which would have to be above this structure point, then we could continue to take buys, or we could create a lower low and then a shift the structure and then hop on some buys there. Until then, I'm not really interested because it looks like price could easily this could easily be the start of maybe a downtrend, or maybe price would be targeting structure down here. Either way, I'm not too interested in Euro CAD. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin and some other pairs really quickly. Bitcoin hit $26,000. Anyone holding Bitcoin? No, I'm guessing. Um, Weekly time frame is bullish. Daily time frame is bullish. And 4 hour time frame. Yeah, I wish too, James. And 4 hour time frame is bullish, well, technically bearish. So, um, yeah, that train has already left the station, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's too late for me, just as well as it's too late for you. Um, I mean, the only thing we can hope for is for Bitcoin to literally fall off the moon, you know? We just need it to sink. Kind of the same way that Trump made the markets crash. You know, everyone is freaking out. Oh no, oh no. When everyone who actually had money and knew what they were doing was out there making transactions happen. You know, they were buying, they were buying, they were buying. And guess where we all now? We are at all-time highs. I mean, literally, we hit 25K. Let's see where it was. Yeah, we got to wait for some pullbacks. Like this was hilarious to me. Okay, I get that the fact that we broke through this area already, but if you notice, like if we zoom in right here, price made it to 25K flat. I mean, it was exact 25K, and guess what happened? Zoom to the downside. And we're kind of doing the same thing over and over again. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the top of the market right now, for at least for the next week or two or whatever. Like if there was a reversal that happened immediately after where we are right now, I would not be surprised in the least. Now, would I be surprised if price just continued making higher highs and higher highs? Not at all. I mean, that's what it does. It always just continues pushing. Um, but I have my opinions, and yeah, that right there is kind of crazy. How many people liquidated their positions in order for price to tank like this is incredible. And you can see that they're just all capitalizing, capitalizing. And yeah, if the market starts to turn around, I wouldn't be too surprised. US 30, same thing. We're starting to create. You can see how the sellers were in control, or the buyers were in control. So you could see sellers are in control, sellers in control, sellers in control. Here, buyers, buyers, sellers, 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 buyers, buyers, and all of a sudden the sellers are back in the market. So as of right now, I believe that the sellers are in control on the USD or NASDAQ and US 30. Now, gold. I actually took a little bit of a gold trade today. I'm not a gold trader. I don't really do it very often, and I'm not good at it either. But I did manage to catch a little bit of a move like this. I ended up entering, let's see. I honestly don't know how I did it. I just did. I ended up entering right here as soon as price broke above this EMA, like so. I didn't really set a stop loss. It was more of a mental stop loss. Like if my account got liquidated, then I wouldn't get back in. But I ended up exiting. My profit target was 980. Ideally, it would be 4K, right? 4,000 is where we're pushing for next. But I was gonna exit at 980, and I watched price get all the way up to there, and I closed at 979. I didn't let it get to 980, and I'm actually disappointed in myself because I'm trying to practice trading other pairs like gold, like Nasdaq and things like that. So that was an interesting trade. Nothing beats this move down here though. Nothing beats this call out for gold. Like normally I don't trade gold, so but yeah. Yeah, I could have been rich. I didn't take my own advice. I said that this was going to be a long-term move and I could have still been holding. But yeah. Anyways, that's basically it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you guys about a minute to ask questions, and then after that, we'll just call it good. So I'm not sure how many people we had today. I think it got up to like 7 or 8. So yeah, we're about capped out at 8 people max, um, which is unfortunate, but that happens. People get to miss out if they want to. No questions? All right. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. Thank you for joining, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right. So close this off. These are the pairs we'll focus on for now. But yeah, see you guys same time tomorrow between my time, 7 or 8 p.m., your time, whatever the time difference is. All righty. You guys stay safe. Bye bye.